What's going on, everybody? It's your girl, Ray P, back for another episode of the We Got Y'all podcast. Of course, I'm not here alone. I am joined by my sojourner, co conspirator, travel buddy, Mr. Come See About Me, Mr. Pull Up On You, Kieron, aka K Rich. What's going on, friend?
Pull up on me.
Pull up
What's
on
happening? What's
me.
happening, Ray P? How you feeling?
I feel good, tired, but good. I feel good. How
Tired.
about you?
I'm doing well. I'm excited to be here with you.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, talking television. We got y'all. If you don't know, obviously you
Yes.
should since you're subscribed. We're also discussing Raising Canaan on
Yes.
top of the White Lotus. So
Yes.
check those episodes out. Usually Saturday, Sunday, we drop those.
Mm-hmm.
Some really, really humbly, I will say, some of our best work. And we've been doing this for quite some time,
For
about three
sure.
years now. I think the speed
Yeah.
has been live. And we've done a lot of different shows. You know, Your Honor was one of those that felt real good.
Mhm.
Um, Winning Time felt real good. Run the World,
For
rap
sure.
shit. But this one, like Raising Canaan, we're on to something. And we
For
kind of
sure.
knew. We did a random recap of season 3 last year.
Mhm.
And people were the feedback we got. So if you're enjoying Raising Canaan, if you enjoy that show and need somewhere to talk about it, check us out. Like I said, on Saturdays on this same feed. But obviously, we are here to continue our discussion on the White Lotus.
Yes.
Um, I want to get into it, but before we do, episodes 5 and 6. Actually, before we talk about this, Rachel, I guess it's good to let the people know. Um, we recorded we recorded a full episode, maybe about 50, 55 minutes
Sure.
last week for episode 5, Full Moon Party. Because like all of you probably watched it and thought, what the fuck is going on? And I don't know. It just felt like one of those episodes where it wasn't our best. So we decided maybe for more context, we should wait. What do you think about that, Rachel? Go ahead.
Not even our best. It was like less than good.
Yeah, it was uninspired. I would say that. It was uninspired.
It was, yeah, it was uninspiring. I think that our disdain is not the right word, but our lack of excitement about what we saw, coupled with sort of the content of episode 5, Full Moon Party, it was just a lot. And so the recap of it was a bit disjointed,
Yeah.
and less than entertaining. I'll say that. And usually we can tell, and we've said it before on both this and Culture Garden, we kind of can tell when an episode is good in our banter, in our conversation. But even our conversation was less than.
Yeah, and that rarely
It
happens
left
to us.
much
So
to
when
be
it does,
desired.
yeah, it
Yeah.
rarely happens. It's like Jordan having an off shooting night. Like it just
Mhm.
doesn't happen a ton, and we just knew like, rather hold off and maybe get some more context. It's a lot of shock value. I feel like more than things to really. I don't know. Maybe like the rest of all of you, you're just sitting there like, what the fuck, what, huh? And there was a lot of that on the episode, so we
For
wanted to have
sure.
some more context with episode 6. We have been doubling up these episodes, and let's go ahead and just get into it. So, episode 5, obviously, the series was created, directed, and written by Mike White. Episode 5 was Full Moon Party. The synopsis. Yeah, I bit my tongue. Damn. Uh, as a yacht party extends into the night and friends explore Bangkok's clubs, parallel stories unfold with family disagreements over future plans and mysterious happenings at a nearby hotel. Also, the synopsis for episode 6, titled Denials, last night episode, well, Sunday night, depending on when you're listening to this. In the wake of the festivities, Laurie finds herself feeling deceived by Jaclyn, while Saxon tries to bury what happened the night before. Um, just a quick highlights about episode 5.
Yeah.
We're not going to go over the full thing again. I mentioned, Rachel, and I've said this along, I think we both have said this. If there's no bigger indicator to turn this back to 6 episodes, I
Hmm.
think this season is it. Right, six
Yeah.
is six is the limit. Like it will be so much better. However, one of the things that's going on is shock value
Mhm.
versus shock value mixed with not really caring. It's cool to explore different ideals and worlds.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's other things. I said this on the recording last week, and apologies in advance if we mentioned that a few times. Like I said this last week, but Rachel's my dog,
For
right?
sure.
Y'all be hearing the intro. That's my don't play about Ray P. I never, ever, ever want to be so close to Rachel that she discloses things the same way Rick's homeboy did to him, right? It
Okay.
it's fascinating too, and it's funny because I'm doing I don't want to say a full committed rewatch of Atlanta, but I've been watching some Atlanta episodes just to kind of like revisit it. And Atlanta has a little bit of that as well. A little bit of I'm doing stuff just to do it
Mm-hmm.
and just to get people talking. There's no rhyme or reason. And I felt like that's what we got a lot of in episode 5. When it comes to the incestuous relationship between Saxon and Lachlan, which we get a lot more information on in episode 6. When it comes to probably the most bizarre scene of television I've ever watched, between Rick and his friend and the meaning of life, as he put it. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was just a lot going on. What are your thoughts on that? Do you feel like this is actually a good season, or more so gets us people talking?
Oh no, I don't think this is a good season at all. And it's unfortunate because we were so excited to talk White Lotus, just coming off of the strength of season 2, which was absolutely phenomenal. Um, I want to push back just a little, because we'll get 8 episodes in season 3.
Mm-hmm.
And we got how many episodes in season 1? 5?
6.
6. And we
And
got
season 2 was 7.
season 2 is 7. So I think that 7 is probably the sweet spot,
Mm-hmm.
given um what we've gotten. Howsoever, I think that had season 2 been 8 episodes, we would not feel the same. It's just unfortunate that season 3 is just not, it's ironically falling into that second album, second season curse
Yeah.
that they missed completely with season 2. They blew it out of the water. And so this is sort of in that, dare I call it a sweet spot, but in that spot where it's like, I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. And I know that we've already been greenlit for season 4, if memory serves me correctly, but I just don't know how they right the ship after this has been so lackluster.
Yeah.
Um, I don't you kind of stumped me when you said about the shock value. And yes, there has been quite a bit of shock value in season 3 with Rick and Sam Rockwell's character. I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
Frank.
Of Sam and Frank, Rick and Frank. That was out of control. Getting we Last week we were dumbfounded by the kiss of Lachlan and Saxon. This week, getting the full detail via a memory
Mm-hmm.
surge was absolutely fucking crazy. I think the best part of this entire episode, dare I say, was Chelsea's reaction to
100%.
hearing the foolishness, because Chelsea is very much us. What the
Mm-hmm.
fuck is going on with this freaky ass family? Like, they need to stay their ass inside, clearly.
Stay your ass inside. That's a great point. And I want to give Rachel credit. I believe you mentioned it on the unreleased episode.
Mhm.
The MVP of the episode last week, episode 5, Full Moon Party, was Walter Goggins' expression acting.
Mhm.
When
Mhm.
Sam Rockwell, aka Frank, was talking about the story about him being sober 10 months. I've done this partying. I've taken it to the maximum level. Who am I? Maybe I want to be an Asian girl. We all
Mhm.
know. Like, getting railed from behind, the whole nine. Just
My
casually telling
lord.
this story. And
Mhm.
I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Rachel, I believe you said it seemed as if Walter Goggins didn't know what was going to be said. Like, he was
Yes.
just told, hey, you have this scene with Sam Rockwell. All you're doing this scene is reacting. Mostly expression acting, not too many words. If you have any words, say them. But
Mm-hmm.
you're hearing something, react to it in real time, and that's what it looked like. It was an extreme level of expression acting.
Mm-hmm.
If you follow Culture Guard, you know how much we enjoy that. Chelsea, same thing this episode, right?
For sure.
That look of what the that's
Horror
the only face to make when you hear some shit like that.
For sure. For sure.
And Chloe was so casual about it. Now, go ahead, Rachel.
No, go ahead.
So real quick, and we're really, like I said, I'll give a quick recap of episode 5, and we'll talk about episode 6 because a lot of stuff will pull from 5 anyway.
For sure.
Because that's what led to episode 6. But I do want to make sure it's clear. I have 100% faith in Mike White being able to right the ship. I think that, and I'll be all the way honest with you, I haven't talked to too many other people about White Lotus. I don't know if our sentiment is the overall sentiment. I don't know how many people are out there like maybe really, really, really enjoy this. You might know more than me.
On the Bird app, it is very much split. People either love it or feel like we feel. And I'm not saying it's an even split.
Okay, fair.
but there are multiple conversations happening online.
That's fair. And I think that he's going to do what he can. I think it's going to start with the cast. I think he's going to have one of those, like, we had some names in these casts the past 3 years, but I wouldn't be surprised if you have a little bit more, couple more heavy hitters in true anthology fashion.
They're welcome, but that's not the issue.
It's not the issue. I don't think it is, but I think the right location, the right cast. Side note, and this isn't the same fried thing that I asked you about a couple days ago, as far as like scenario. But there is one person who I just personally am a fan of her, and I just want to see her in White Lotus.
Okay.
Jurnee Smollett. I want to see her in a season of White Lotus. She's already in the HBO family. Yeah, she's already in the HBO family. We know what HBO is. There's multiple projects you'll see them in. She was obviously in
Lovecraft Country.
Thank you. And she was in, what's the vampire joint? True Blood?
True Blood.
Does that sound right? Yeah, she was in True Blood as well, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, I think that's somebody that'd be incredible. I think if you go too big, and no disrespect, Journey's the biggest. Like, she's been doing this since forever. In our personal opinion, the greatest child performance of all time in Eve's Bayou, Hold 9. But you don't want to go like super like Hollywood. Like, Journey's an actor on top of just being a star. Like, I don't want any stars. I want bona fide actors.
For sure.
So we'll see what happens. We
can get her in Sterling.
Sterling K. Brown?
Sterling K. Brown can be her husband.
I would be with that. I'll be with that. See, what they would do, though, they would go get somebody. They would go get like John David Washington.
I mean, okay.
Which I'm not mad at, but I would rather see Sterling K. on a White Lotus type show.
Yeah.
Because he can literally do anything. Like, he can play mailman and be the best fucking mailman in the world. Like, it's fascinating. Like, he's incredible talent. All right, let's get back on track, though. Episode 5. Matter of fact, we really don't have to go through it. The only things that really happened, we kind of discussed briefly, and we're not going to share our reactions. They're the same as yours. We don't know what the fuck is going on when it comes to the story between Rick and Frank, when it comes to Lachlan and Saxon and their them kissing. Obviously, Belinda and
Pornchai.
Pornchai. Okay, then. Pornchai hooking up. We'll talk about all that in episode 6. So, I already read the synopsis. Rachel, what was your opening thoughts on this last episode, Denials?
Oh, you ready for episode 6 too? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Because I, you know what? As I was looking through, like, we're gonna probably call back to episode 5 because it's kind of a cause and effect type of thing. So I don't know if there's really a reason to recap it and just to talk about it again.
For sure. No, I thought you said you read the synopsis for episode 6. My bad.
Oh yeah, I did.
Episode 6 was one big what the fuck is happening. I'll be very honest. And I structured my notes a little bit differently for episode 6. So they're more storyline, we got a lot. I feel like there was a lot of jump scare and teasing of shooting. We opened essentially with Tim fantasizing or dreaming of what would happen if he did actually pull that trigger himself, and the effect that would have on Victoria and Piper, who were both the only ones in the house at the time. We see that Chloe, Chelsea, Lachlan, and Saxon are still on the boat, and we are seeing them reel from a night of pure debauchery. I'm At first, I was a bit confused as Saxon was beginning to recall things obviously much sooner than Lockie. It took Lockie going to the temple with Piper to have some of those memories sort of come back. And that was only after he came into himself. That's not just because he's a novice druggie, but also he's young, so he doesn't know. You don't know how you're going to react to certain things. You don't know how long it's going to take for your memory to come back after a blackout, a quote unquote blackout night. So it was a lot going on. Rick is in Bangkok still trying to get Tritala into to let him into the house. We saw at the end he and Frank finally did make it in, but Frank is really not fucking with it. He's doing it off the strength of whatever relationship they once had.
Yeah.
So
He owes them one, as he said. I don't know what he owes them for, but he owes them one.
exactly. So we figure that out, and we know the episode ends with hearing the husband's voice. So we know essentially we'll see him next week. Excuse me. Belinda and Pornchai in the bed, her son Zion walks in. I'm not quite sure why the bellhop didn't tap on that door like you just opened, and not just opened, but opened it directly to my bed. Clearly, Belinda's not in a villa like Jaclyn and them,
Mm-hmm.
or like, or like the
Mm-hmm.
Ratliff. She in a regular, degular, or a suite like mine. She in a regular. She in a regular, degular ass room. So you open the door. Hi, welcome to my bed. Very interesting. I did not hate.
She put it on that nigga Pornchai. That nigga didn't even budge. He was still asleep.
He was still asleep. Come
Put
on.
that thing on him.
Hello. Put it on him, make him want to wipe a bitch down. Shout out to Love and Hip Hop. Shout out to Rashida and Kirk.
Oh man. Yeah,
Bless
she put that
that.
thing on him. Shout out to Belinda.
She put it on him so much. Pornchai wants to go into business with Belinda. I'm not mad. Although Belinda is not fucking with it. We do get Gary
Hold
Gray.
on. You think Belinda ain't fucking with it?
No.
I don't think she's fucking with the idea of going to Thailand. I think she's fucking with it though.
I think Belinda is gun shy about trusting people with her business idea after the Tanya of it all.
Facts. All right, great
Because
point.
now I just gave you some pussy. Now you want to go into business. Do you really? The last time I had a business partner with this woman and some dick got involved, she backed out on me. Now she dead. I don't know.
Fair point.
I
Very
don't
fair
know.
point.
It's definitely a bit tricky. She might, but I did not get the impression that she was as excited for the idea as Pornchai was in presenting her with the idea.
Also, I just want to point this out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying this is the case because they're not. We don't have any reason to believe it. Let's not rule out the dependency factor when you are in unfamiliar spaces. And what I mean by that is, to your point, Rachel, I'm in Thailand. I don't know anybody. You're the first like nice person that's kind of shown interest, and we're working together already.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool right now, and your decisions might be clouded. But once you step back in your real world, it's like, oh, I don't really fuck a Pornchai like that. He cool, but he ain't start a business, change my life cool. So you can get faded, like you can get jaded. It's like moving to a new city, right? You move to a new city, you find one friend It's like, okay, then cool. I'm gonna hang out with this friend, and then you realize once you meet some more people, like, oh, this person I'm hanging out with is really not a good person, or I'm just doing this because I'm bored. Otherwise, they'll, you know what I mean. So
For
I'm not
sure.
saying that's the case, but it just kind of feeds into your point, Rachel. Like, this ain't, yeah, we can bed together and shit, but this ain't no permanent life change that I'm about to make. So
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. Gary wants to have a dinner party. He invites Belinda, ironically enough. I don't know. Tricky. I don't What
admits
are your
to it. Yep.
thoughts?
Um, when it comes to the whole Gary of it, you got to attack this head on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's stop playing around. Like, let's just put
Yeah.
our cards on the table and see what it is. Trying to come to you in a non-threatening manner and invite you up
Mhm.
to this party. Your son's more than welcome to come. We see Belinda immediately. First of all, the jump scare was all we needed to know.
For sure.
And we know Gary has something planned.
Mm-hmm.
We just don't know exactly what it is, but we also know we're not trusting Gary. And we need to go ahead and keep Belinda safe. Like, Belinda better not be the person who was a victim. I doubt she is. But this dinner party sounds like it's taking place in the next episode. Y'all, listen, if you don't know, penultimate episodes. It's my shit.
For sure.
And
So
I'm
it's got
expecting a
to be
lot to go on. It's got
good.
to be good, right? It's got to be good. But for right now, it appears, I believe they might have mentioned it in the preview, that she's going to go to the party.
Okay.
And I'm more curious about why. Like, what was it? Maybe her son convinced her. I
Mm-hmm.
think it was in the previews. It sounded like her son was like, "Yo, go up and hear him out. Like, see what he got
Yeah.
to say." Um, and you feel a little bit safer when you're amongst other people versus her just going up there
For
dolo,
sure.
because you know how that works. Um, okay, where you want to take it?
I I didn't overview my favorite part of the episode, which was the girls, which was the friends. So I sort of want to
Let's
go ahead.
let's save them. Let's
Yeah,
save
I
them
was
for
gonna
the
say,
end.
I kind of want to end with them, or at least not start there. I think we can knock out Gaitok. Gaitok got the courage to go to work early, break into the Ratliff home or villa so that he can find the gun that he knows Tim has. Um, he's successful. He finds it. Not only does he find it, but he finds it in the nick of time because his superior is looking for both him and the gun and says, I think it's been stolen, it's lost. And here, Guy Talk, who just retrieved it from the Ratliff Villa, comes in and says, you know what, I have it. You shouldn't be carrying it because you don't really know how to shoot it, but I'm glad you have it and it's not been lost or stolen. Wink, wink.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't think we got Mook this episode. So
We got a little bit. Remember she hit. She pulled up on him right
yeah,
before he broke in. And
yeah,
to your point, right in time 2 times, right? Not only because his boss was looking for the gun, but also because the Ratliffs were right about to come in. He walked past him.
yeah, yeah,
A few seconds later, a few minutes later, and it's a whole different conversation.
for sure.
We did get Mook, not a ton of her. Just interesting that Mook was the one that said, "Are we still on for tonight?" We've talked about what that relationship is, and we
Mhm.
obviously we still think it's platonic, but I don't know, Rachel. Maybe you can speak to this. Sure. You want to take me out? Fine. Let's see what you got.
The
Let's
big
see
dog
what you got.
turned Gamecock.
You think she's just bored? You see how
Yeah.
excited she got when she heard he getting the gun?
Y-
Mook want that danger. She thinking she
He
want that.
wants danger and excitement,
Yeah, you
which,
got a gun?
baby girl,
Bet we can meet.
because a gun separates you, that false sense of extra protection and, dare I say, bravado, just because you have the safety of having a weapon. You're not just a security guard with a flashlight and not even a baton. So
100%. 100% right. I've been thinking, I've said this, that I think Gaitok is the shooter,
mhm.
but maybe not, because he's got a good shot.
He does. To
Usually
have
they
every
use
shot, he's got a good shot.
Yeah, and maybe there's more to Gaitok that we don't know.
Mhm.
Or I'm not I don't know. The White Lotus makes it, they try not to make the shooter obvious.
Mhm.
Right. And sometimes there's telltale signs. Now I don't know if you knew this or not. I don't know if I should say it. well, it's up to you out there if you're listening to pay attention to it or not. Starting with season 2 of the White Lotus, the opening credits, like the name of the actor,
Mm-hmm.
like they're usually placed by some kind of animal or something like that. It
Mm-hmm.
was a telltale sign about who that character was and their traits. So I think like in season 2, Theo James like had a snake next to his name, and like
Oh.
all of the opening credit like names where they're
Mm-hmm.
placed had meaning. I don't know if they carried this over into season 3. Like I said, if you try to figure it out, you can. If you just want to ignore it because you don't want any potential spoilers, ignore it. Um, I say all that to say a lot of times they try to mask it, but other times they try to hide in plain sight.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like Gaitok was hiding in plain sight up until I saw him shoot, and I'm like, man, that
Okay.
might be the dead giveaway because it's going to be unexpected, or we might be right. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know who the shooter is, and another thing we don't talk about enough, Rachel, I don't know who the victim is either.
Not at all.
So
Not at all.
that's a big hook and a big part of what we're getting into. And admittedly, the past couple episodes, 5 and 6, have been much better.
Mm-hmm.
I want to ask you about Gary/Greg and his conversation with Chloe.
Mm-hmm.
Chloe knows what she did. Greg knows what she did. He's pressing her on. And first of all, let me say this before I even get into it. You're never going to outbid the nigga with the money.
For sure.
He's talking about them deckhands. Let me bribe them. You're never going to do anything more. I don't care how much pussy you get.
Yeah.
Right? You're not going to do enough to the nigga with the bankroll. He going to get whatever information he wants to out of these folks. Right? Just want to let you know, just for future reference.
And I'm inclined to believe there are cameras all over that boat.
Why wouldn't there be?
Why wouldn't there be? So whether or not you have to bribe a deckhand is irrelevant. I've already seen it. I know why the cage bird sings.
Did he not have the attitude of I already know what happened?
I
Like
already
not
know.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
not assuming I know it for a fact. So I just want to see how you gonna play it.
There's that. And also, I've said it since we met her. She is in fact a prostitute. So
Yeah, like this is what he wasn't shot. Like this is what you do. You think he's
yeah.
turned on by it?
I could not tell. His demeanor really didn't give jealous boyfriend. It was sort of an intrigue
Maybe a
there.
cuck.
He could be a cuck. Or again, if we're talking callbacks, understanding that Gary, not Greg, was the cowboy crush of the parties in Italy.
Yeah.
So we know that Greg and Gary like to play. So maybe less than a cuckold, he might also want some brother.
Yeah. To quote Bernie Mac, I'll watch. I swear I'll watch. That wouldn't shock me because I think the entire series, seasons 1 through 3, is Mike White exploring. It's funny, I mentioned earlier about me rewatching Atlanta, and season 1, episode 2, the famous jail episode. Ern says sexuality is a spectrum, and I think that's what Mike White is doing with this series. I think he's exploring the aspects and trying to break down the normal structure of what people think. And social media, this is a not new thing, right? This is something that people are walking into. And they're just little small, subtle things that he's leaning into when it comes to that. And I believe that could be the case. It wouldn't shock me. I guess nothing at this point is going to shock me.
I hear that. I don't really need to explore incest, though.
That's the thing, right? I don't care about it. And it's not. Go ahead.
I care very much because I don't want to see it.
In that
I don't
sense,
want to
yeah.
see it. I can watch same sex both ways. I don't want to see you and your brother playing tummy sticks. Shout out to Wedding Crashers.
Yeah, man. What the fuck is going on, man?
I don't want to see it. I'm not interested in that. Um,
at all.
there is an illusion or an alluding to in the next episode, maybe that Saxon also wants to sleep with his sister, also wants to have or does have some sort of weird situation with Piper. Hopefully, that's not true and that's just Twitter fodder. But I think if you want to explore bisexuality in an adolescent, because let's just make Lachlan 18, and not a minor. Yes, let him play with Chloe. Whatever. Hell, Zion is now here. Let there be anybody, Valentin, one of those Russian brothers or friends. There's plenty of other, hell, Fabian, Gaitok, anybody else, let him do that.
The
I
incest part
don't
of it is the
want you
wild.
and your siblings. Kissing cousins is one thing, but sex and siblings is something totally, totally different. And I'm not the least bit interested in that. And word to Chelsea, there's not a drug that would make me hook up with my brother. And I got three of them. Not a one.
I'm dying. Like if it came down to a situation of perform this act with your sibling or I'm killing you, like bro, you gotta kill me.
Literally that simple.
Like that's what it comes down to. And I don't know, man. I was gonna say I would like to learn more about Mike White. I kind of don't because
I think we know
we've
enough.
already said it. Yeah, we've already said it in our first episode about the season one storyline about Massenbacher, the dad,
Mm-hmm.
and his father having a secret life.
Life. Mm-hmm.
That came from his real life and his real life father. The only difference was his dad was still alive, or still
Yeah.
is still alive, whatever the case is. So we know that can be weird, and we shrug things off because we look at him as like art and
Mm-hmm.
television and film, but that really happened to him. So I'm sure there was some shit that's fucked
Tension.
up. You know what I
Yes.
mean? And I don't want to dare think about what happened in life to where it inspired you to write about an incestuous relationship. Like I don't even want to go down that path. I understand exploring. I'm a big proponent for exploring new ideas and making refreshing television and something new. That is not what I have in mind. That is because I don't understand who at all will be the target audience for that, Rachel. I don't know
Yeah,
who is interested in that storyline other than I just want to creep y'all out. That's the
for
only thing
sure.
I can think of. Like,
For
because
sure.
whatever.
For sure. Fuck that.
Jerk, your brother, I don't even say it.
Insane in the damn membrane. And honestly, I was already freaked out when Saxon was having the flashback and realized that he was self-pleasuring immediately next to his brother and Chloe.
Mm-hmm.
Already weird. But then, and I don't know if you noticed, but in the morning when they wake up, Saxon puts on Lockie's swim trunks,
I didn't
his
notice that.
bottoms. They have swapped pants.
Swap more than that.
Exactly, on that boat. Um, I was even more taken aback when Chloe revealed that, I didn't force you to jack them off,
That was
essentially.
the moment.
One of the best things about this is how sick Saxon is. The more he realizes, the more comes to the front of his mind of what happened. And again, here's the thing, we say all of this about not being interested in an incest story because I'm very much not. But what I can and do appreciate is that Saxon too is disgusted by the mere thought. Despite having participated, albeit outside of his right mind. And again, he too does not do drugs. And maybe this is the why, because you cannot control what you're doing when you on that sherm. Okay. So here we are. I appreciate his disgust. I'm nervous. I don't know quite why Chloe is going to, dare I say, blackmail him um with coming to the party, or if he doesn't come to the party with this information, because you look crazy as fuck. And also, what are you going to do? I'll never see any of you again.
Mm-hmm.
What, we have at least a day and a half left here on this island. What could you possibly do to me that I would be threatened by whatever that you're gonna put it out? I could say it's AI or deep fake. I could say anything. Put out the boat footage. I'm never gonna see you again. I can lie. I'm a liar. He
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have identifiable tattoos. Everybody in the world has a twin. I'm not going to that house. Fuck you. Fuck Gary. I can't clearly say fuck my brother at this current juncture because
That might be taken the wrong way.
clearly we got some things to iron out. But I don't know.
No, we got some shit to address.
Come on.
Um, yeah, I don't. But that I think that just comes with Saxon not knowing, not being a part of the real world.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying Chloe and, well, let's leave Chelsea
Okay.
out, but Chloe's not either. But I'm sure she had some pretty woman beginnings before she got on that yacht.
Well,
So there are a few things that I'm sure she's learned because you don't listen. I want to make sure people understand this is not to as a detriment or a shot at sex workers,
mm-hmm.
but you rarely hear about rich, entitled people
Mm-hmm.
turning to sex work. That just doesn't really go hand in hand.
Yeah.
It's usually people that need to
Mm-hmm.
use whatever they were blessed with to make some money off of that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm sure she's seen some things, and she's probably like, whatever. Like, I can finesse it. I don't know. I don't know. For all we know, Chloe might be in on this shit.
She might be, but she very much told Chelsea, this is a good deal. I don't want to lose this. So, to your exact
Mm-hmm.
point, she probably does not want to go back to the slums of British Columbia, or she's French Canadian, so probably not British Columbia, but
Yeah,
fucking Ontario.
Quebec. Yeah, you know what I mean.
She does not want to go back to Canadian bacon.
You wild for that. What was I just about to say about? Was it Gary? That might be it. I don't think I had anything else. Oh, I was gonna say this.
Mm-hmm.
A very small part of me was starting to believe that Lachlan is like just playing coy, like playing shy. Like maybe he is intentionally like I mentioned in episode 5. There were a lot of, even going back to episode 1. We talked about the masturbation in the bed next to your brother, the whole thing, and him looking at his bare cheeks as he went to
Mm-hmm.
the bathroom, handled his business. Episode 5 had a lot of like, I'm gonna take you down one day, the rubbing of the head before we get to the kiss. And I'm like, damn, did Lachlan, is he trying to play innocent and maybe had these incestuous thoughts the whole time? But when they showed the scene of him at the monastery and
Mm-hmm.
he saw everything going back, I'm like, oh, this is all shock to him too. I know you mentioned that earlier, but I'm like, all right, then I can rule that out because Lachlan just seems a little bit too innocent,
Mm-hmm.
but he's doing
You
he's
think
doing
so?
some other shit. At the beginning, I think the way that character was introduced, it's almost like the same as Albie in season 2, but Lachlan got some experience to him.
I think he's just aloof. I think he's just awkward and unsure. Albie was green. Consider Lachlan is still in high school. This is the thing. He's the youngest person in the 3 seasons that we're experiencing. Well, him and
Oh, dude from season 1.
the season 1 people,
Yeah,
But
they were
he,
in college at the city, Sweeney and them. They were in college. The brother was in high
oh, the
school.
brother was in high school. Okay, so here we are again, a weird ass sex addicted or questionable sex practices teenager. Maybe
Yeah,
that's the story Mike White is trying to tell. If all the adolescent boys are tricky.
maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. Who knows? Let's talk about the other Ratliffs.
Okay. They go to the monastery which I kind of loved this scene. And again, we talked, I believe in our deleted episode, about Victoria emerging, especially now that she is not under a lorazepam coma, essentially. She has more of her wits about her, and we see her actually step into that mother role because she is a bit more focused. What were you going to say?
I was gonna say, if he's gonna have my baby for a year, he better be the best monk in China. Like,
Well,
wild,
you know,
wild,
you know what that is.
yeah,
But
hilarious.
I enjoyed her getting to the monastery, going to snoop around and figure out what the fuck is going on here with my child. Not only did I take my own tour, I'm talking to people, whether or not they talk back, I'm talking, and I'm figuring out what's what with them and also with my child Piper. While Victoria was touring, Piper met with the monk, and Tim went up to speak with him, and he had his own the mountain meets Muhammad at that
Mm-hmm.
in that room with him. You can't outrun pain, and that's kind of the bar of the episode because it's so real
Facts.
just in real life. And then also knowing that Tim is having significant suicide ideation, so we're seeing that he agrees to let Piper stay. If you want to, okay. What I loved the most, though, was Victoria saying, you know what? Sure. If you can stay here tonight, you can stay. Piper
Mhm.
was not at all ready to stay there that night, which for somebody who lied about the reason for the trip, plans to be there for a year, you should be ready right now because what's going to be different? Your
Not only
family
that,
is down the block today if some shit go down.
facts,
When you're here by yourself next year, what are you going to do?
facts. And if I'm Victoria, hell nah, Lachlan ain't staying with you. You
Exactly.
want to do this?
Because he's not
Lachlan
coming.
ain't gonna be with you for this whole year. Yeah, you get
Exactly.
used to it.
Exactly.
Which
I'm
led
with
me
you.
to, which let me know right away. Piper ain't moving over here.
She ain't fucking going.
All this is
Angst.
we don't know. Yeah, it's just a way to get away from the norm. It's something that sounds good
Mm-hmm.
until you do it,
Yeah.
right? Until you do it and you end it and like, oh shit, it's only been 2 weeks. I got a whole 11 and a half months left.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck
Mm-hmm.
this. I'm going back to Durham.
I'm going back home, and I'm so sorry, y'all. It may be in a deleted episode, but I don't think Piper wants to go and stay there. She wants to stay and be accommodated in a way that she's used to being accommodated and taking her ass to the monastery when she feels like it.
Mm-hmm.
She wants to live like a Ratliff, but in Thailand. So that is the thing, like with privilege. Unless you truly want to remove yourself totally, you're just talking. This is just bullshit. You know what I'm saying? It sounds good. It's prerogative. Nobody knows. It's provocative. Nobody knows what it means.
Yeah.
So here she is. I'm very curious because I do think Lachlan does go with her. I didn't watch the full preview, but I believe I saw him there. I am hopeful that he doesn't. You might just go. I hope you
Yeah.
take your ass back to the villa, but maybe he
Yeah.
won't, given
I think he
everything
owes
that's
her
happened in the revelation that he's had.
that revelation, and he owes her from missing it from the boat, which I'm sure he's thinking probably, man, I should have
I
just
should have took my
went to
ass.
that damn dinner.
Uh-huh.
Should have went to that damn dinner.
But I don't really owe you for that. I mean, I hear you, but I don't really owe you for that.
Nah, he don't, man. But they got a different relationship and a different bond. She's definitely not going, in my opinion. I don't know what's gonna happen while they're staying there, but she's not gonna
Mhm.
go. And you made the great point of Victoria is no longer on meds.
Correct. My bitch is thinking clearly. Ish.
she was on meds, I don't think she would have even thought about that because that's when it's kicking in now. And I think for the first time in episode 6, we saw, oh, Victoria knows her children.
For sure.
She's not as, to use the words you used earlier for Lachlan, she's not as aloof as what it might appear. She's not drugged up. Now it's okay, bet. You want to do this shit?
By all
Fine.
means.
Be my guest. You won't even make it a night because I've raised you. I know how you live. You ain't about to do this shit. I've been snooping around here. You ain't about to live in this shit.
You're not gonna do it on the fucking floor. Are you crazy?
Yeah,
No.
like
Listen,
for a year.
For a year? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And not even that. You just sort of reminded me of my favorite Victoria moment aside from this. The conversation she and Tim are having at the house. Baby, I don't want to be poor. I've lived long enough to know that the reality is if that is a choice I have to make, I'm probably taking myself up out of here because no.
At this
I've
point in my
seen
life,
I've seen how the other half lives and I ain't going. If we can't do
speak,
this shit, I'm not interested. I want to live. I want to be comfortable. That's it.
think about what she said. Fearing poverty. I
Fearing.
fear poverty. Right? Like that
Mhm.
shit is not a joke. That's not a like. Listen, there's a joke that Chris Rock had where he said, if Bill Gates woke up with Oprah money, he'd jump out of a plane.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
Oprah's rich,
Yeah.
like rich.
1
But when
billion.
you ain't got what you, when you ain't got that what you had, no matter how
Mhm.
much you still have, it's like,
Mhm.
man, get me up out of here.
Get me up out of here.
I'm accustomed to a certain lifestyle. That's why when Karuchi comes out, right, years ago, when after the whole Chris Brown thing, she says, I will never date air quote regular guy. I need somebody with some bread. And people were on her ass, but you know what? I sat back and I'm like, I get it. You know what I'm saying? When that crazy guy said that line about Amber said, no matter what happens, I'm never going back to Philly. Like once you're introduced to a life and you have what it takes to maintain it,
Yeah.
why would you want to go back?
You don't.
I get it. I understand. So Victoria's, I wouldn't have said this in episode 1. Victoria, low key, one of my favorite characters.
In the
I'm not
lowest
counting.
of keys, it may be just maybe Victoria's fear of poverty is what turns her into the goddamn shooter.
That might be it. And she might shoot Tim.
Suicide.
She might shoot Tim.
Look at what you've done to me.
Are you crazy? To quote Ray P, are you crazy?
You crazy? Come on. What the fuck is going on?
What you mean
Can't
we
do
pull?
it.
They're talking all this for a reason, right? It's gonna come to a head. We'll keep an eye out on it. But Victoria kept it a buck, which is what led to Tim fantasizing about I'm taking you out and I'm taking myself out, murder suicide. So I don't know. We already talked about Rick and Frank. Nothing else to see except for Rick still trying to get in the house. Frank is helping him.
And he brought that gun he said he wasn't going to bring.
Brought that gun and he said he was not going to bring because we know that it's a lie. Let's go ahead and just talk about the main event, Rachel. I think it's time. I don't think, did we miss anybody?
That's what I was just doing a brief check. No, Fabian, he was trying to talk to Belinda. He's going to perform. I don't know how much weight that's going to have.
He said, you feeling any better about the comp? No. The fuck out my face, Fabian. Like, what you?
Ridiculousness.
I told you niggas trying to kill me and you brushed it off. You shrugged it off like it wasn't nothing. Man, get the, I don't want to see you for the rest of my stay. Get out of here.
I don't want to kick it with you, skate with you, nothing.
None of that.
So, the best thing is Valentin getting up out that room in the morning like we knew he would. And of course, when you sneak, like the good book says, what's done in the dark comes to the light. And in the light of day, none other than Kate spots Valentin in the clothes from last night. Spots him looking like yesterday, coming out of their villa.
Looking like yesterday. I like that.
The best part of this is we've seen the girls gossiping behind each and every one of their backs. After every little small thing, we see the glances when somebody does something tricky or not even out of character, what I know you to be, because people don't change, allegedly. Kate gets up in the morning and is dishing with Laurie. my favorite part is Laurie turning the fuck up and Kate saying, I just thought we were going to laugh.
Can I pause you right there?
Yeah.
Is that true?
That Kate thought they were just going to laugh?
Mm-hmm. It was Kate stirring the pot, or did she really think this was just going to be something that we like, oh, typical Jaclyn, and move on and eat our breakfast?
I actually do believe that Kate thought it was going to be some, this bitch, ha ha ha, fresh pineapple.
Mm-hmm.
We know she's ridiculous. We know her marriage is likely a sham. We know that she's holding on to her youth. She's a whore from the 90s. Shout out to Real Housewives of Atlanta. We know a slut from the 90s. We know. So the fact that they already have made mention several times of how boy crazy at 40 sounds nuts, but how much male attention Jaclyn thrives off of, we knew that somebody was getting the draws. The fact that it is Valentin is just a little bit more crazy. And while Laurie is absolutely off her damn rocker, I understand where she's coming from, especially if there is a history. Why are you putting them off on me? You were doing a whole lot to set us up for a night. You was trying to get me to fuck the nigga during the massage. You want to hang out with them on behalf of me, quote unquote. Meanwhile, why you couldn't ask one of the friends to spend the night? You asked Fabian, who you were actively trying to get me to sleep with. That's not cool.
Let me ask you something.
Okay.
Did Jaclyn look at this, and they've done a great job this season of showing us exactly who Jaclyn is.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's with, what's her dude name, Harold?
Sure.
Whatever. All of that male seeking attention, all of that. If someone wanted to argue on behalf of Jaclyn and say, well, Laurie just wasn't shooting that shot. Fuck it, I'm gonna go ahead and get into it, because there is no attachment, right? It's not like Valence is an ex, any kind of connection. I tried to set y'all up, you went on it, so I'm gonna go ahead and do it because I'm the alpha in this whole motherfucking friend group. I could see someone saying that she's justified because of that. Would you agree with that?
No. Why?
Because that's who Jaclyn is.
Like, okay.
Like Jaclyn gave you, like I can see someone saying, I gave you multiple opportunities to jump on this. Like, all right, I guess here's the real question, right? If Laurie had fucked Valentin, do you think Jackie still tries to fuck him?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, 1000%. Because here's the reality. Whether I fumbled fucking him or not, that doesn't have anything to do with you. That's still a me and him thing. You are actively trying to fuck him. You could have fucked one of the two other people who came into your presence that night. Mm-hmm. Why him? He's not the crazy one. Okay. X him out. But the other one that was there was a viable candidate. Don't try to get me to beat up on somebody and then you take them down. And not to be anecdotal. And I ain't gonna be anecdotal. But you know, things happen, but it's just very weird. And unfortunately, they're both wrong.
Yeah. I want the record to show. Yeah. I am agreeing with you. I'm just asking the question for the sake of it. I told y'all back when we discussed episodes 3 and 4 that Jaclyn was going to fuck Valentin. I said that before we saw it. So I definitely am. I want to make sure the record states. I do think Jaclyn would have fucked them either way. Just wanted to bring that argument up and get your incredible point of view from it. But go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, no, that's it. Laurie she's tripping. She's acting crazy. And so clearly
Laurie's acting crazy.
Yeah. For sure.
Because of Jaclyn fucking her.
Yeah.
But you know it's not. It's deeper than that though.
Whoever else Jaclyn fucked in the past, this is very much clearly triggering whatever reaction she did or didn't have in 10th grade.
I wouldn't be shocked. First of all, to your point, Jaclyn been fucking Laurie niggas.
Yes.
Wouldn't be shocked if we find out one of these last 2 episodes, Jaclyn fucked Laurie's husband. Ex-husband.
Yeah, and that's the reason for the divorce.
That's the reason for the divorce, maybe the tension, maybe not the divorce per se, or it might be one of those things like it wasn't discussed, but it's known.
Yeah.
I don't know. Either way, it's just Jaclyn is gaslighting 101.
For sure.
Everything that you think Jaclyn is, she is.
Jaclyn had no intention of them finding out that she fucked that man. But you, my friend, have got to be quicker than that. And the sneak link, you cannot stay the entire night. You do the do and get your ass back to wherever you're supposed to be, because I would assume, low key, you might live on the property as a worker. Might.
Sure it does.
But if not, either way, go find you somewhere to stay. Go sleep on one of the massage tables. And we'll see you in the morning. Let's regroup. You know, he could have gotten out unscathed had he been gotten up after he did the do and left.
100% agree with you. It is, when I saw that daylight, like, oh, you tripping.
Yeah.
You tripping. That's one of them. As soon as I'm finished, nigga, there ain't no rolling over, ain't no catching my breath. All right. I'll see you at breakfast.
That's it. That's it.
What I mean? I don't know. The ice is breaking. Foundation is weak.
For sure.
Next episode 7, has to be the episode where all the cards are on the table and these women hash it out, because Laurie ain't going. She couldn't let it go.
She couldn't let it go, but now you've made it awkward for everybody.
But all right, so I read this. There was a thread that was out about Laurie. As much as she talks about being honest and wanting to put everything on the table, she herself is passive aggressive. Would you agree with that? Sure. You think Laurie's passive aggressive? I wish she would just, instead of dancing around it. I know I applaud her for bringing it up because it's on her mind. But don't laugh it off like, I just don't know why you lying. Tell her you pissed off. Tell her you a shitty friend. Have it all. Y'all need that conversation. Whatever's been building up for all these years.
They're not friends like that.
They're really not.
They were friends at a point in time in high school, maybe stayed in connection and communication in college, but they're not actually friends. And so I'm being passive aggressive with you because, one, we're here. You paid for this whole shit. There's only so much I really can do with you before you be like, bitch, where's your half? What are we talking about? You feel some kind of way about me? Okay, find you another room for your last couple nights if you can't afford it, because you're a divorced single mother.
Damn.
And you talking shit. You keep egging it. Kate was right, bitch. Let it go. Like, why are you antagonizing her? That's where she's wrong. You said your piece, okay, but don't antagonize her, and then definitely don't throw my name into the shit. That is one thing I cannot stand. And not that I'm throwing rocks and hiding my hands, but if I tell you some shit, that's it. I don't need you to be like, well, Ray said da 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 da.
That was unnecessary. The topic is already on the table. You don't have to say where I heard it from.
That's it. I don't need you to do that. And Jaclyn is right. I actually don't need my friends gossiping about me. I actually don't need y'all talking shit, even though I was gossiping too with y'all. But I am the celebrity. I am the draw. And it does not feel good when a rabbit got the gun. But for y'all to be doing this, y'all talking shit. And again, you're only here because of me. Here I am trying to have whatever. And clearly the bitch is nuts. She is that love starved. Shout out to RP Senior. And you just needed that affection. You need that male attention so bad because as soon as her husband called, now you regular. You needed to hear I'm hot for you. You need to hear that you are still sexy and vivacious, or at least still feel like that. So yes, I am gonna fuck the hotel masseuse, even though I was trying to get my friend on him. Doesn't matter.
What
I
happens
need
in Thailand stays in Thailand, Rachel.
that's it.
Yeah.
And
Interesting.
now Jaclyn got to worry about that getting out. Shut your ass up. I'm married, bitch.
I couldn't see one. I don't know. That's a little bit too much. But they've been surprising. So I was gonna say I can't really see either one of them spilling the beans. But Laurie, maybe I won't put it past her. I think you said it best, antagonizing her. And I think this is. I don't know if Mike White did this intentionally.
Mm-hmm.
There was a line when Valentine at breakfast when it was just Laurie and Kate.
Mm-hmm.
How you feeling? Blah blah blah. Kate says, "Oh, that Vlad, he's been through a lot."
Mm-hmm.
Valentine didn't say, "Those are my best friends.
Mm-hmm.
Those are my oldest friends."
Mm-hmm.
There is a distinct difference between the two, and
For
I would
sure.
like to believe that that
For
was an
sure.
intentional line
For sure.
because. And not to say, not everybody subscribes to best friends. I'm one of the people that thinks, if you are in best friend level, I consider you family.
Mm-hmm.
I get it, right? Usually you say, "Oh, those are my best friends from when I was a kid or forever." Now,
Mm-hmm.
those are my oldest friends. Like them are motherfuckers that at least I know who they are and we can kick it if all else fails. But I might not know them like that, and that's exactly what these women are.
Which is how they were introduced as best friends from high school. That grew
Yep,
up together. So very intentional difference.
yep. And listen, we said that we had the conversation. Unless you talk to somebody all the time, and I was just listening to a podcast, I can't remember which one, where somebody was saying that, like, man, sometimes I don't know what y'all motherfuckers be doing on a day-to-day basis to vouch
For
for you.
sure. For sure.
To vouch for your name and all this. Like there's some people that you think you cool with, and they hear some weird shit come out, and now
Yeah.
that's your man's. What's up with your man's? I'm like, oh, I didn't really fuck with him like that. Like, nah, nigga, nah. That
Yeah.
was big bro.
For
Like, what
sure.
happened?
For
Like,
sure.
so it's one of those things. Yeah, they definitely they're way overdue for a very honest conversation. We're gonna get it in the next 2 episodes. We know that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Rachel, is there anything else that we need to discuss before we get out of here?
I don't think so. Don't do drugs, kids.
Drugs are bad, okay?
Yep. And you cannot outrun
Um,
pain.
cannot outrun pain. Bar of the episode. You're absolutely right. Um, well, that's it. As always, we appreciate you tuning in. Thank you for listening. Please be sure to subscribe, like, comment, share, tell a friend to tell a friend. 2 episodes left. I guess Rachel and myself will discuss if there is enough, if it is a big enough episode, maybe we'll release 2 singles, or we might just stick with the routine we've been having. In
Yeah.
a couple weeks, we'll have 2 episodes in one. Not sure yet. Say subscribe to the feed. Also listen to Raising Canaan.
For
That's all I
sure.
got for y'all. Rachel, last words?
Thank y'all. Peace. Be cool. How y'all be cool.
We got y'all.
We got y'all. Bye.